Greetings and welcome back to the lab. Time to do the final assembly. I am so happy about this. So let's take a look at what we've got on the table here. We've got the clock running, and it may not be so obvious because it's designed to be a little dimmer than the lights would permit, but I wanted to give you a bit of a comparison here because you can see on this 10, 10, 02, 3, 4, whatever. And you can see the difference between that and the new digits that we're going to be using. So I had to do some work off camera to make sure I get all this working. Let me disconnect this and I'm going to run through it with you. So there were a bunch of changes, and I want to make sure that I tell you about all of them, and I'm probably going to have to put notes somehow into all the previous videos to point people at this video because there were changes made that are kind of important. Chief among them is the connectors. I changed this whole system out. Instead of using the DuPont connectors, I am using the JST connectors. These are JST XH connectors. I had ordered 5-pin. I got 6-pin. So I had to return those and get the 5 pins back. But if you saw the unboxing video, then you saw that I got also the sockets to put them in. Got them all set up on there. Got them set up on the back of each of these boards, which meant pulling all of the old sockets off and being able to get everything reconfigured to work. I had to decide on does the left side of this go to the bottom or the top, and does the right side go to the bottom or the top? This is what I ended up working with. So if you're trying to replicate what I did, these are JST XH connectors, 5-pin sockets, male socket with the female to female cables. So the one on the right goes up to the one on the bottom here. The one on the left goes to the one on the top. And that's the same for all three of these. Then for the first two, I have the JST XH 2-pin connectors here. Those are, well, however you do it, you want to have the positive wire towards the inside of the board here and the negative towards the outside. That way, when you connect up to here, you're connecting up with the positive up near the top here and the negative near the bottom. Let me zoom in as close as I can so you can see that. And what I'm doing here is intercepting the signal that's supposed to go to the colon on the original board. And to do that, I'm picking up the positive side of 2 LEDs wired in series, and I'm picking up the negative side of the resistor that's supposed to control the current going to those resistors. And speaking of that, I ended up changing the 680 ohm resistor that I had on the digit board to a 1K, and it's still a little on the bright side, but I think it's acceptable. If you want, you could probably change it to 1.5 or 2K, and it would kind of de-emphasize the colon. But there's that, and then I've got 430 for all of these resistors here. Now, if you're using different color LEDs, or even just different model LEDs, you may need to do some testing to figure out what value you want for this. But that's what I happen to use. I was using these just simply to prop things up. And so let me see if I can't work this out in a way that you can actually see what this clock looks like. Now, actually, at the moment, I have sort of an emergency job going on with my computer, and the way things are plugged in, I can't turn the lights out. So I'm going to have to figure out how to move them off to the side. So the colon always goes on the right. That's hours, that's minutes. Here is seconds. Colon goes on the right. And hopefully this will be somewhat readable once I move the lights around instead of turning them off. So give me a second for that. I can actually turn this one off. This one, I'm going to have to turn the opposite way. And I'm going to get real dark, but then hopefully you can see I've got hours, I've got minutes, I've got seconds, And in a little bit, this should change to 11. So I'll give that a second. Meanwhile, I might as well show you. I thought about the case, and I decided on this color for the outside of the case. This is an old 3D print. I wanted to test it first before I committed to that, because if anything went wrong in the painting process, I was going to be facing having to either sand it all down or have it reprinted and have to wait for it. So the end result, I painted on the inside, I painted it brown, and I painted on the outside that green. So that's what this is going to look like a little bit. Let's stick these seconds in there. This is not final assembly. This is just giving you an idea of what final assembly is going to look like. But now you can see I'm hoping that'll come through. Is it lined up? Yeah, it's lined up. So hopefully now you're seeing that, and it recessed back a little bit, which is what I wanted, so that when you're looking at it head on, it looks better, but from the side, you're going to kind of lose it. Not that I want to lose it on the side, but I don't want the individual LEDs to kind of bleed into each other. So that was the whole point of that. So the next part of this, and I'm going to turn the lights back on and around, and hopefully that'll give enough light for this. I want to start putting this together. So as I've already started with the seconds here, once you get them up into the corner there, it should, the screw holes should line up. Now, the screws in this particular case are M2 or 2 millimeter screws. I got a bunch of these. I've also got a bunch in a kit here. Make sure that my hard drive is still working here. I have a lot of data. I've made a lot of videos over the years. I've got to make sure I protect that data, and that's what this is about. It's actually not the drive that has all of that data on it, but I don't want to lose anything. So that's what's going on with that. Now let's see. Last time I tried to do M2 screws, I had a bit of a problem because of my motor skills, but I think things are coming back. I'm going to grab a screwdriver. I'm going to see. Maybe I'll try an easy one first. Try and get that to go in there. These should, in theory, all fit side by side with no gap. Oh, nice, that went in. Interesting how it feels like it didn't quite sit down, but let's give this a little bit more of a shot here now. About a few more. And bit by bit, we're going to put this puppy together. I'm a happy camper. I got that. I can't believe I got that together. And it turned out that that first one where I only got 3 out of the 4, I now have all 4. So let me turn this one off, turn this one up, and hopefully this is now a bit more obvious what's going on. It's 10:41. It's not actually 10:41. When I turned it on, it was 10:10:0. So it's been 31 minutes since I started. So it is a little fiddly. But the next step is going to be to mount this, which actually needs to go. I'm going to figure out which way it goes. It actually goes, yeah, this way. It's got to get turned around. So I got to figure out how to deal with all of these wires. And this can either go, I've got posts just inside here, one here, well, 2 here, and then 1 here. So I've got an option. I can either put it here, or I can put it further over. But actually, the wires aren't letting me. The wires are binding up here, so I think I'm going to have to put it here. And there should be 2 posts that should line up to allow me to put this on. But before I do that, I have one other thing I need to do. I need to fill the top 2 holes up in this corner here and that corner there, and put posts on them so that it'll sit down on the back of the other circuit boards. That was my hard drive. That's just checking on something. So yeah, as twisted as all of this is, I don't think I can go any further. I have to go here. So that was an oversight on my part. I should have gotten longer cables for this. But I mean, ultimately, once that's hooked in, I can push all this down. I can run the power wire however I want to run it, maybe like that. And once it's all screwed in, then I can actually put the backing on it. So I'm going to take a break and come right back for you.